I have really been struggling here lately on what ankle boots go with my straight leg and loose leg jeans. And this has been a challenge for me. So I figured since it's been a challenge for me, it's probably going to be a challenge for someone else. So I just wanted to create an ultimate guide to give you some tips on how I figured out how to figure out what works. And there are a lot of really easy tips I want to give you and explain some things to you about ankle boots because they're not all created equal. And you probably know that if you go home and throw them on with jeans and then you have to roll them up and you don't like doing that. And it just becomes a huge challenge. And so I want to help you just eliminate that challenge and be able to find some ankle boots that go with all of the things in your closet that you can wear day in and day out and not have to buy 6 or 7 pairs. And I do have quite a few pairs here because I've accumulated them over the years and I have trouble getting rid of ankle boots. So I have a lot of options to talk about and show you. So I hope you enjoy this. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button if you have time. Hey ladies, it's Jamie and welcome to my channel. So the first thing that you need to do before you even decide what ankle boots to buy is to measure your jeans that you're struggling with. So these are the jeans that I struggle with. They're just a straight leg jean that's a little bit of an ankle length. So they come about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches above my ankle. And I love wearing these with sneakers and sandals and things like that. But when we get to the fall season and I have tried to put boots with them, it's been a little bit of a challenge. So what I do is I measure the leg of these. So I just take the opening and I kind of flatten it out. And I take a tape measure, whether you want to do this flexible one or a household tape measure, I don't think it matters. And just measure what that circumference is. So the circumference of this, it's 6 inches flat, so it would be 12 inches around. So I have a 12-inch opening, and then I want to measure from the bottom of my heel up to where it actually lands on my leg. And so that measurement, the circumference and the how far it is from the bottom of my foot will actually be comparable to when you look at the circumference of the ankle boot and then the height of your shaft. So you'll be able to know whether it's going to fit underneath and whether it's going to come high enough to fit underneath. And so compare those measurements and it makes it a lot easier to figure out what's going to work. Because with a straight leg jean, if you have not seen my video that I did last year on how to style loose jeans with ankle boots, check it out because it gives you a lot of details of different loose jean styles and what ankle boots would work with them and what you can do to make them work if it's not just the perfect match. And so you can find a perfect match, and that is what I suggest, especially if you're shopping online, because comparing those measurements will help you not make mistakes and buy things that are just not going to go with your jeans. And if you're going to shop in store, I recommend that you just wear the jeans that you are having the most trouble with and try boots on with those jeans and just see how they feel, what they look like. And definitely look at measurements because just looking at the boot online will not give you an idea of how wide that's going to be on your leg. So now I want to talk about the circumference and the shaft of ankle boots. And I'm going to make some definitions here for you because I'm defining them a little bit different than, say, the industry would, because an ankle boot is defined as anything between a 3-inch and an 8 3/4 inch shaft. And that's the height of it where it goes up on your leg. Anything higher than that would be considered a mid calf or a mid shaft. And then anything that comes up to your knee, of course, is knee high and then over the knee. But there are ankle boots that have so many, you're seeing that 3 to 8 3/4 inch range. So I've divided them up a little bit just to kind of be more helpful. So there is the 3-inch to 3.5-inch that I'm calling a low shaft. This is your ankle boot. This is the one that I have on right now, and it literally hits my ankle. And the measurement for that is done by just taking where the heel and the body meet and measuring all the way up to the top. So you'll take your tape measure. I'm going to use this one because it's a little bit easier with this. And just go down to the heel. And so this one is almost 5.5 inches tall. So this I would consider a mid-shaft ankle boot. So anything that's over 3.5, so we're gonna go 4 to 5.5 inches to me would be a mid-shaft. And then anything from 6 to 8.75 would be a higher shaft, which would be my sock booties that are at the end and my combat boots at the bottom. So, and when you measure the openings of these boots, they're very different. So you can't say that a low shaft is going to always have the same circumference as another low shaft, and for all the other two categories, it's the same way. They are all completely different. And in this video, I'm going to talk about each section next. So now you know what I mean by low, mid, and high shaft. So I wanted to do a quick addition to this video because when I went to edit it, I realized that I did not explain the circumference very well. And so I want to add that the circumference can be a very exact number if you want it to be, or you can measure it across, try to flatten out the shaft a little bit. It can be a mathematical calculation, or you can just generally do it. But know if you generalize it in the way I do it, that you're going to be 1, 2, or 3 inches off probably. And if you don't have that much room to work with, then to get an accurate measurement, all you have to do is take the tape measure and wrap it around. And you want a flexible tape measure like this one. And you just want to wrap it around the top of the shaft. And so this comes out to be 11 inches, and it was actually 4 inches across. So you can see there, if you take the 4 and times 2, it's 8. You still have a few inches that you did not get. And so I wanted to talk about that because I didn't specify that, and I think I really need to. And if you want that exact measurement, that's what you're going to need to do, is wrap it around. Now, if you have one that you can flatten out really well, like this one that I did, it's pretty accurate and you don't really have to wrap it around because it's not super rounded. And so that works with that. But with ankle boots like this, I would wrap the tape measure around to get the exact measurement if you want to know. If you have an ankle boot at home that you love that works, wrap it around there and see what the measurement is. And then when you shop, you'll kind of have a better idea. And then to add talk about the shaft height again, I did say to measure at the back above the heel, but the most accurate way to do it is to right where the heel starts, so right where your arch would end, and you can get a better accurate measure of the shaft height if you want that. So I'm going to start with the low shaft ankle boot, which I'm defining as 3 to 3.5 inches. So this is right at your ankle. I have a 3-inch on right now, and it literally stops right at my ankle bone. And to me, that is the perfect height, because if I have an ankle length jean that's a couple inches above my ankle, that means there's going to be some skin showing, and I'm not really going to have to worry about the circumference of that ankle boot. Now, I do want it to fit a little bit more around my ankle like this one does and not have a ton of space. And so this is perfect for all of my jean styles. I have worn my ankle length, I've worn my kick flares, which are cropped, I have worn skinny jeans, flare leg jeans that I have on right now, and they all look amazing. Now this one, both of these have a little bit more of a Western influence, which is on trend right now. The toe box, I think, is less important, and I think that's personal preference, but I do think if you have wider leg openings, that a toe box that extends past that leg opening is very important. And these have a heel on them, which I know not everybody can wear, and I think it's really hard to find ankle boots right now that have a lower heel that fit like these do. But if I find any, I'll link them, and I will link these below because they are still available. And to me, this is the most versatile option. So mid-shaft booties, not mid-calf booties that I'm talking about, are between 4 and 5.5 inches in height on the shaft. And so I have a few pairs here, and I'm going to talk about the ones in the middle here first, because these I've had for the longest, and they do have a round toe box, and these have a smaller leg opening here, and they are pretty tall. I've worn these with skinny jeans for forever. It comes pretty slim, but the problem with these is they come just at that height with my straight leg jeans that they interfere in the hem of it. So the hem needs to come over the shaft of the ankle boots, and so these are not quite tall enough. They are that height where they meet the hem of the jean, and they're just not going to work even though they have a slimmer shaft. So not only is the shaft circumference important, but the height of that is important compared to the jeans that you wear. And so I love these, and my skinny jeans work great with them, but they're not good with my favorite pair of straight legs. Now, if I have a longer pair, they're going to work really well. And I'm not saying that you can't roll up your jeans when you're wearing any of these ankle boots, because you could roll them up if you wanted to in order to get the right look, but it's just not my favorite thing to do. I don't love rolling my jeans unless I'm super duper casual, and most of these ankle boots have a little bit of a heel, so I don't see them as very casual, and I'm just not loving that look on me. But if you do love that look, then that's definitely an option if you need to do that. And then the same goes for these. This is a wider shaft. With it being the height that it is, it impedes on the jeans, and it just does not look good. So the height of these are just bad. Now this one I showed you earlier, and it was a little over 5 inches high, which actually goes under the jeans. It's another inch taller than these. And so it works perfectly, and the circumference is 8 inches around, so it goes under the 12-inch leg opening really well. And one thing I did not mention earlier is you may want to measure your leg as well. And I would just measure around your ankle area just to see how slim your leg is, because mine's pretty slim. I can go pretty slender on the shaft, and so you may want to do that measurement as well. But if you're wearing a 12-inch leg opening, then that's probably working well with your leg. So either way, you can get a good measurement for what will work. And if you want to know both, then just do both. But I do like the mid shafts, but they are a little bit harder if you have an ankle or a cropped length, because you've got to have them match well in order for it to fit underneath, or it needs to be tight enough and have enough space in between there to show some skin. So I really wanted to talk about Chelsea boots in this video. This is a mid-shaft boot. So they do have usually a 5-inch shaft height, and that would get in the category of a mid shaft. This is on the tall end of a mid shaft, and then we're going to get into a higher shaft ankle boot. But I really wanted to talk about these since they are trending, and the biggest challenge with a Chelsea boot is their lug sole. And the original Chelsea boot didn't have a lug sole. It had kind of a square heel, and what defines it is the elastic, this stretch that allows you to pull it on, and then the pull tab at the top, which these two have and this one doesn't. But you know what? In fashion, they have a tendency to change the style of things and still call them the same. And so the Chelsea boots are great. They will go with a lot of different styles, even skinny jeans, as long as you balance your top half. If you get a boot that fits underneath it but does not fit good enough, then when you sit down, it's going to get caught on the boots, and it just becomes kind of a pain. So I think the slimmer, the better with the taller shafts, but these still work. They still fit under the leg. I got these because they actually fit a lot better, and I really liked them. So when you're looking at Chelsea boots, you can look at that leg opening, because a lot of them are a little bit slimmer, which makes it very nice and helps them work with a lot of these looser ankle and crop styles. So now I want to talk about a higher shaft ankle boot, and I'm defining the higher shaft ankle boot as one that is between 6 and 8 3/4 inches. And remember, I said at the beginning, if you get above 8 3/4 inches, you're getting into more your mid calf range. And so I wanted to talk about these sock booties, because these were actually the booties that won the show on my video that I talked about loose jeans and ankle boots. And the reason why is because they have a 6-inch shaft height, and the circumference is about 7 inches, and they just fit really well on the legs all the way up, and they're tall enough where they go underneath all of my ankle jeans. And so these are the perfect option if I want to dress up, but I've had trouble finding an ankle sock booty that is tight enough and casual. And so Not all of them are created equal. That's why it's really important to look at those measurements if they are provided for you. And so this one is great with all different leg styles, even dresses and skirts. And it's just a perfect option if you want to dress things up. Now for my lace-up combat boots. And not all lace-up boots are going to be a tall shaft, but the one I have is a tall shaft. And the ones I've seen, a lot of them, especially if you have the buckles, are going to be a little bit taller. So this one has a 7-inch shaft, and the circumference is, I think, it's 8 inches. Yes, so the circumference around is 8 inches. And of course it ties, so if you needed it to be wider, it could be. Of course, I have to cinch it all the way, and the 8-inch works perfect for me. And this is a very specific style that will fit underneath your straight legs, and it does look really good for your casual outfits. Has a little bit of a chunky bottom and a rounded sole, but this is a style that's really popular, and I do think that you can even wear this with tights and dresses and like all kinds of things, and you can even put this over skinny jeans if you want that look. But it goes well underneath the looser legs, and even the ankle and probably the crop versions are going to work really well with this because it's so high and so skinny. So I did want to show you that since it is an option out there. So if you love this look, it is going to be a lot easier to style with those leg, the loose leg openings than you probably think. So if you have any questions about any of that, please leave it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and found it very informative, I would love for you to let me know. And also hit that thumbs up so I know to do more videos like this that are more informative as opposed to styling videos. And if you have time, click the next video if you want to check out my latest, and also hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with me. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.